In this video here, we want to let you guys know about some traits that you probably already have at the moment that Ukrainian women find extremely attractive. And we're not going to talk about physical traits, okay?
So physical is very subjective, and some ladies attracted to the taller, shorter, bald, with a long beard, with a short beard. So it's very subjective. But there are some traits that over the years, and after communicating with so many ladies, and after especially after I started educating the ladies, I see that those traits they're so rare. And it's like you're right, you have it already, but for some reason people don't really using it. And so that's why, as soon as you start using it, the lady become very attractive.
And I'll just add this, it can supersede looks. Because
Absolutely.
we've had clients that are good looking, that don't have these traits or couldn't show these, didn't inhibit these traits, they just completely failed. And we've had clients that are average looking, that did have these traits, that absolutely smashed it and ended up with a woman that was well out of their league. So we want to share those with you today. Okay.
Number one is your favorite one. Understand the frame.
Understand frame, yes. So we talk about frame. A lot of videos out there talk about frame. A lot of guys don't really understand what it is, but the easiest way to understand what is frame is who is making the decisions and who is following when it comes to the interaction with you and a woman. So you want to be the one that is leading the relationship, because when you are leading, if you're in the front, somebody can only ever come behind, right? So she needs to follow you. She wants to be following a man in life, in the relationship, to go wherever it is that you two need to go in the future, okay? So understanding that you must lead in the relationship. We talk about it all of the time. It is number one. It is the most important thing. Do not bring Western ways where you don't know what you should be doing, 50-50, all of that garbage. It will not work, okay?
I will explain when it doesn't work. So it doesn't work when you're traveling, for example, to meet with your lady, and she's, let's say, in Poland, and you come to Poland and you, in some sort of way, rely on her for whatever reason. Maybe you never traveled to Europe before, maybe you not experiencing, you never been in Poland, and you think, but she's living there, so it's more easy for her to arrange our tours, to ask her for the advice in restaurants and etc. At this point, you're losing the frame. And it's convenient if you're coming to her place and she has a place to stay, so you can save some money on hotel or something. But at the same time, this saving can ruin everything. So it's better to go to some other city, take her outside of the frame if you know that you will not be able to control the situation. If you know that you will rely on her if you come to the city where she lives. Why? Because really, the guys say, but she knows the restaurants, for example, she already knows the places. But trust me, in every single city, and even in Valencia, we lived for 2 years, and there's so many people came, and we went to so many places. Every day, on Instagram, I see new places. Striker, what is a new place? I never heard of that. So it's always something that you, as a person who live in the city, just daily life, never been to. So if you come into the city where the lady lives, take your frame, invite her to the places that she never been, and that would be very, very attractive.
Yeah, lack of frame, we know when it happens because, well, most of the time, sometimes there's some exceptions to this. If the woman, has a pleasant time, she friend zones him and she says that there wasn't really any chemistry. So there was lack of frame here, okay? This is it's
a friend zone. It's a way to the friend zone. If you don't put her in your frame, that is a direct way to the friend zone.
Yeah, and all leading in the relationship is a mind shift. It's just the way that you think about the interaction, okay? Then follows from that the actions, but without believing that you are going to lead this interaction and that it's your frame and that she's coming into your frame, because believe it or not, that's what she wants as well. Until you have this, then it's never going to work anyway, okay? So
I want to give one more advice on this point, because I know that sometimes, and we spoke with you about that guys sometimes a little bit too much leading, and so I know it's confusing, and you say what is too much, what is not enough, but we always say that you have to make plan, you have to come, and you need to tell her when it's convenient. But of course, don't forget to make sure that she's also available at this time, and you're not just traveling around and then you say, okay, come on, I have 2 days, or she should find a way to meet you. No, you arranging everything. And the best, how Striker described it on our consultation calls, is that you are a director of your movie. You have everything depends on you. Yes, of course, she will also implement. She always also be there for you. But you have to be in control, in charge, and then there's no way that something will go wrong, because you know what you want. And even if something is going wrong, it's okay, because you have you should think of something plan B, C, other place, rain, whatever. But that is super, super appealing, extremely appealing.
And that's a good segue into number 2, which is look for problems to solve, okay? Don't wait for problems to come up. You should look for them to solve. So men's brains are wired differently from females. So men's brains are wired to fix things, to solve things, right? That's what we should be looking to do. Women want men that can solve problems. They do not want a man who's thinking, I don't know what to do. What do you think I should do? We can't do this. What do you think we should do? She's not interested in this. She will get so turned off. It's ridiculous, okay? So you're the man, you need to solve the problems. But like I said before, look for the problems to solve, because there are problems absolutely everywhere. And sometimes solving problems that weren't even necessary to solve will just bump you up in her eyes of this man that can solve problems.
Do one step in ahead. Like, I know it's sometimes difficult because guys, when you travel, like there's a time difference, there's a jet lag, there's like confusing, there's a language, different currency. We understand it all, but if we decide to do it together, you always have us on the background. But like, I will give one example, like one of the maybe funniest, but one of the most attractive thing that one of our clients done. So he met a lady and she invited him home and they was cooking together. And the knife was very, no, how you call it?
Dull.
Dull. And so she didn't have a sharper. He kind of asked her, but she didn't. And then the next day he went to the shop. He bought the sharpener, didn't ask her, didn't tell, do you want me to sharpen your knife? Do you want me, like, this is the, like, we will speak about that later, about don't ask questions. So do what you think you should do. He came and he sharpened her knives and he fixed something on her kitchen. That's it. For the single lady, there's nothing more attractive than the man who just came and say, okay, I will take care of that. I will put the air in your wires. I will, whatever is that not feminine, but she has to do it because she's a single woman.
And he was very hungry and he needed to get that knife sharp so that she could finish cooking.
Yes. So looking for problem to solve is not necessarily to rescue the world or like save the planet. No, it's something small that she as a woman doing because she has to do it as a single woman or single mother or this or that. So if you will, like, also another example, a lot of guys for some reason on our Telegram community, by the way, if you're not a member, I invite you to join. It's a community where we discuss things, communicate, sharing some extra videos that we're not posting on YouTube. Like the guy we're asking about if she has a child. If the lady has a child and you okay, you want the lady to have a child or you're okay with that, and this is what you're looking for, solving child's problem, I'm telling you, it would, like, you would be the favorite person on the planet if you solve the child's problem and you become friends. So number three is perception of stability. They all, if you see, like, all these points are a little bit connected, right? Like they all coming that, there was a woman. On our ascent, we discussed masculine, feminine equilibrium. There is a woman, maybe she was a little bit on a masculine role because she's a single woman, she needs to solve the problems. And now there is a man who coming to her life, pushing her hard to the feminine role and arranging around her the environment that is stable and safe.
Yeah. So yes, the perception of stability. So think about this when you're having your interactions with her. Is the perception of your life coming across as someone who has stability in his life, right? Because quite often we've had clients before, we have consultations where the guy is like in the middle of selling his house, or he's about to buy a house, or he'll buy a house in the future. At the moment he's just renting because it's not important. That's cool. But the way that we want him to be perceived is that stability is there. He just hasn't made that decision yet because he's waiting to be in a relationship to maybe make sure where he wants to live and what type of house and how they're going to have their life together. So you create the perception of stability. So they're all stable because, well, you would like to think they are because they're going ahead with this process, right? So they know what they want in the future and they're taking steps in order to get to that point. So for her to have that perception that he has stability is huge, right? It's absolutely huge, because if a woman, especially a Ukrainian woman, in the West it doesn't matter, right? A Western woman has her own stability. She doesn't need the man's stability. But the reason that we're going over to Ukraine or to another country is because we like the idea that those women are looking towards men to have the stability in their life and be the ones that are going to protect and care for these women.
Very good point you said, because 99% of our clients not 99, maybe less, but like they are saying that now they live in this state, not 99, okay, like half. They say that I live in this state, I live in Texas, but I'm planning to move to Florida. Or they saying like I'm renting this apartment, so I don't know like where I'm gonna go because my work is like I'm traveling with my work. Or somebody say like I actually want to move to Ukraine when the war is finished. Or they saying like I don't really see the future in the United States, but I want to move. And so when you're a couple, when you're a family, and you're making decisions together, and you're sitting in front of each other, and you discuss, okay, so like I don't really enjoy living here, or I don't feel safe here, and you discuss it with your wife or with your husband, that is okay. But when you're just meeting, the lady has to make this huge decision and huge change in her life. She needs to change everything that she's been doing before, no matter how old is she, 20, 30, 40, 50, doesn't matter. And she needs to move to you. And so she needs to know that with you, she will get that stability. With you, she will get this house.
Yeah.
And everything depends on how you present information. So you having these plans are great. But you will come up with these plans and you will discuss it, and maybe something will change because you never know. You meet a lady, maybe she has a house in Ukraine, so you will just move there. Maybe you will stay half year in Ukraine, half year in the United States. Do not put all of these problems and concerns and unsureness on this woman. So when you talk to her, because like even if you rent apartment, and most of our guys, like if they live somewhere like and they moving for work, they live in an apartment that they rent because they don't have a house. Like why would they have a big house if they live by themselves? Yes, if he's been divorced and he has this house, or maybe he bought it, but like it's okay. So you just say to her, you don't say like, oh, I'm not sure what to do, I'm not sure should I buy a house or not to buy a house. So this is not perception of stability whatsoever. But if you tell to the woman that at the moment I'm renting because I'm single man, it's enough for me, but when I have a family, definitely I'm ready, I'm going to buy a house, I want to buy it with my wife. So you putting with these words, you implementing that you are safe and stable, you're planning to buy a house, you want to decorate it together, you want it to be in a good area for children and having schools, so etc. etc. This is important because most of us living not knowing what will be like in the next 5 years. And even though like a lot of guys like to ask this question, nobody knows what will be in 5 years. Every month something changing, every week. So, but you need to be that rock that the lady feel comfortable with.
I can kind of put it into context, so maybe it's a bit easier to understand. So if a woman has the feeling of this man is not very stable, or there's no real direction.
Base, like no base.
The equivalent would be, and we've seen this, is that when a man speaks to a woman and she starts talking about her work, and doesn't seem to pay much attention to speaking about family. And then the man says, well, she doesn't seem like she's very family oriented, even though that she is, but that's the same feeling. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think so. It's like
it's the perception.
Yeah, and as I will repeat, if you talk to your woman, if you talk to your wife and you're discussing your future plans that, oh, let's move from this house or this, because even like I will tell you one thing is that in Ukraine, it's different. And like we recently had a call with our couple who got married in August. And I asked her to tell me like what is the cultural difference that she's meeting. And what she told me, she said, Luba, like for me, it's a shock. So in Ukraine, you have a house like that came from your grandmother, you decorate it, and then it doesn't matter, it's big or small house, and then you have a child, and then you try to fit extra room or extra bed in this house, and then you put like a two-layer bed. So you have this house, and this is your house. In United States, people changing, and Stryker told me the same, like in New Zealand, that you have a house, then you change your job, you start making more money, you're changing the house, or you have more babies, like more children, you're moving to a new house. In Ukraine, it's different mentality that I'm not saying that it is right or wrong. I'm just saying that it is. So for them, like these changes, it's a little bit, oh, it's a problem. So if you're changing something for the best, for Ukrainians, if you have to change something, then it's for the worse. Unfortunately, that is like been the way that we live. So perception of stability, it's a super, super, super attractive and appealing trait. Number 4. Stryker is a professional in that. Make her feel interesting. That is,
make her feel interesting.
I educate that to my women as well. It's not just that you will make her interesting. Like I teach my girls also that she should make you feel interesting. But now we're giving advice to the guys, so that's why we will focus on that. So
we've seen tall guys, handsome guys, bore the absolute pants, not in a good way, off women, right? They just don't. They can't get the woman to feel like she's having an interesting conversation. It just stays surface level. I want you to imagine an iceberg. right? And all the good, interesting stuff where you start to connect with each other is below the waterline. At the top, it's what do you do? What are your hobbies? What's your favorite color? What's your favorite food, etc. They stay here, right? And no matter how tall and handsome you are, if you keep a woman in this spot here, she gets bored very quickly. It becomes mundane. Remember this word? It becomes mundane. But then we've seen guys that are extremely charismatic, not particularly tall, not particularly in shape, have normal jobs that can delve deep into the bottom part of the iceberg and get these women to open up, and these women fall in love. They feel themselves falling in love. There's something about this guy, right? They make the woman feel like she is interesting, and then all of a sudden the topics of conversation become interesting, and she leaves that interaction going, what an interesting guy. I wouldn't mind talking to him again. In fact, I want to talk to him again. If she's talking to everyone always talks, and he says in the comments, it's like, just be 6'3" and you can get any woman you want. Like, this is I understand you've seen these red pill videos, and I understand that whatever coach online is telling you that's the case. It is not. I believe that stuff too before we started Heart Rocket. It is not. If you can make a woman feel interesting and have an interesting conversation
and make her laugh.
Make her what?
Make her laugh.
Love?
Laugh. Ha 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 ha.
Laugh. Yes, make her laugh and love.
And love.
Very important. Yes, and this is why women will become interested in a man. Okay, this builds chemistry, and she'll become interested in a man. We have to remember that what women find attractive is different from what men find attractive, right? It's different. Not saying that, if you are tall.
It's sometimes irrational. It's really not according to he's tall or he's short.
Yeah, I've seen this so many times. It's ridiculous. And of course, if you are tall and you are genetically handsome, you get a longer foot in the door for the interaction. You get to stay there a little bit longer and be a little bit more boring than someone who wasn't. Yeah, so you get to be a little bit more uninteresting and a little bit more boring, a little bit longer than someone who's not as attractive. But at the end of the day, it's all going to go the same way. So make her feel interesting. Remember, these are non-physical traits. Make her feel interesting.
Yeah, and number 5, I think it's connected to this, how to achieve it. Because sometimes guys say, I don't know how to make you feel interesting. What do you mean? You should pay attention at details. That is super attractive. Because when you, she told you something and you notice that, it may be about the flowers that you like. Maybe it's something, the book that you read, the movie that she watched, the music that she listened, the food that she bought, anything. And you would say, you know what? I went to Ukrainian shop and I bought that food. Oh, it's amazing. This cheese is it's crazy. And she will say, so he been interested in what I told him. So that is something very small. It's people sometimes think that to attract another person, you need to do something big. You need something significant. Small things are much more memorable than big things, right? And pay attention to details when you speak. Ask your questions, not just generic, because most of the time, and we're coming up with that as well. We will help you soon with the questions. We just have so many plans and things to do, but helping your communication, because details are something that are so small but so important that people sometimes underestimate it.
Yeah, the pay attention to details. So when you're having a conversation with this woman and she tells you something, you want to find out the how and the why of it. Why did she do it and how did she feel? This is really the secret to having a good, deep conversation and getting deep in the iceberg, getting to the part underneath, is why did she do it? How did she feel when she did it? Not just, that's interesting. Okay, why did you do that? Well, because I felt like it. Right? If it just ends there, that's the end of it. But tell me, why? There must have been something in your past maybe that made you want to become a nurse. Did you enjoy, maybe your mother was a nurse? And you want to find out the real how and the why. And that's how, as we go back to the other one, you make her feel interesting, but you're also paying attention to the details of what it is that she is saying. And just put them in the back of your head. Always keep them there. What she says with the how and the why.
Yeah. Here, the problem that I meet with a client is that sometimes the lady says something and the guy a little bit overthink. So paying attention at details sometimes play the bad role with the guy, because she may say something that I haven't been in good relationship with my dad, and the guy is red flag, she has daddy issues, oh my god, she's traumatized. Or the guy is the lady said something about the childhood that your mother was not paying attention, whatever. So, and guys start to worry that she's some kind of a problem. So this is you need to be cautious about that. So stay positive and stay in a good vibe and good topics. So next point is don't ask, we put here, and it's super important because so what I mean by don't ask her what she needs to be fixed, for example, right? Like that guy, go and sharpen your knife, just without asking, would you like me to sharpen your knife? Or like it's something about like act of service, right? Like if she's coughing, don't say, would you like me to bring you some water? No, give her this water. Or if she's like, you see that she's cold, don't ask her, would you like me to give me my jacket? You know, most of the time the lady will say no, because like she will feel uncomfortable that now you will be cold. So if you really have intentions on giving her this coat, just take this coat and put it on her. If she will not want to wear that, you know, like you leave it there for some time, she will wear because she's been cold. So don't ask and make a big deal of things. Just act like it is organically happening with you. It's just like what? You disagree?
No, I agree.
No, it's
was
like,
that my disagreeing face?
Yes, it was like a little bit judging look.
I must have put the wrong one on.
Don't ask her that. And also, that is a very good tip for you, according to the lady that you're already in a relationship with, and about money. I know that it's kind of a painful topic. Some guys, you know, it's always like, oh, should I support her? Should I not support her? Should I send her money? Should I not send her? How much should I send her? I always say, do not ask. So every guy has their monthly budget, right? You have your budget that you're planning to spend on whatever. You have your savings, you have this. Now you have a lady. If you ask her, how much money would you like me to send? And she tell you, for example, like 500. You may think, oh, 500, it's a lot. Or you will think, oh, 500, it's like nothing. It's a piece of cake. Or you will think, why did she even ask me about that? Maybe she's a scammer, you know, or something like that. So if you decide and you got to the point that you have like intimate, close sexual relationship, and you like it's your like you already in touch with her, and you want to help her maybe to buy some clothes, you want her to like get something for your parents, maybe for your common friend, maybe for your sister, for yourself, you just say, hey, here is like this amount of money. I will not say purposely this amount because every guy would have its own. For somebody it will be $100, for somebody it will be $300. I don't think that, you know, it should be over like 500 while you on these like first stages of a relationship. But I will repeat, already in intimate and sexual relationship, close one. So you send whatever is convenient for you and what you think that will not ruin your budget or will not harm you or you will not like starve or anything like that. Like, and so you send it when you want, when you feel convenient, and how you want. So that's how the lady will take it and she will appreciate it because she was without this money at all.
Yeah.
Now she has this money. Of course, if you know that she's going to get a driving license or she needs to go to English school or she needs to do this and this, of course, there's a certain amount that you need to send. But if it is something that you want to just make her feel happy or the winter is coming, you want her to get a jacket or something, just send amount of money that you think and you will feel comfortable. And you will not feel used, you will not feel whatever, because you give this money as a gift without waiting for anything in return. You give it because you feel that you want to do it. Correct?
Yeah, correct. So these actually, you know, you can see how they all sort of tie in together. Like, don't ask for money. It's you're looking for problems to solve. Yeah. You're leading in the relationship. So they're all tying together. It encompasses and it becomes like I guess a character, right? You're becoming a character of what women want, right? With nothing to do with how you look. That's something separate, right? All men can be attractive.
And
that was
one more tip. The last one would be to stay positive, to be positive. And that is also a little bit tricky one that I want you to remember. Never ever I always forget this word, do not self-deprecate. Deprecate. You never self-deprecate. This is something in American culture, in a Western culture, when the guy is saying like, oh, I'm so clumsy, look at me, like I'm so dirty, I'm so this, I'm so that, ha ha ha, look at me. Never. Ukrainian man would never do that. Masculine man would never do that. Will never make fun of himself and others as well. So never like say, oh, you silly, like you dirty or whatever. Also on her.
Yeah.
Never do that because this is like, you know, you don't know which button you can push that can offend her. And about like if you're joking on her, if you're joking on yourself, you just end up being like, look, you seem silly, you seems like not serious, and like, but be positive. It's like when you're not complaining about your ex, when you're not shitting on the country that you live and say, hey, America is so bad, you know, this and politics and this and this and this and the taxes, like, you know, what are you doing? Like, if you're saying bad stuff about your country, like, how do you want her to move there? How do you want her to be feeling stability and safe there? Like, how? So don't do it. But talking about positive, about plans for the future, about what you're gonna do, like what you want to achieve, what you want to learn, where you want to go, that is positive talk and positive vibe. And and of course, all of us has problems, right? Do you have some now?
Some.
We all have some downs, and of course, like, we can sit all day here and complain, how this and that. Like, somebody spoke with us and say, "You seem so happy. Like, life in Spain seems like problemless."
Well, we have our fair share.
Like, honestly. But of course, we're not gonna sit there and complain about that. We try to be positive, and we stay positive and pleasant for the communication. We're not saying that you should fake, but especially at the first stages of communication, super important to be positive, not laugh at yourself, not self-deprecate. And
the self-deprecation thing, it's because if you take this for example, if you get lost and you say, "Oh man, I always get lost when I'm driving in a new place," if you say that to a woman, how is she ever going to trust you if you can't trust yourself, right? And maybe you do always get lost. Okay, that's cool, but just keep it to yourself. In regards to being positive, I'm going to say it's one of the most important. Maybe it's just like the cherry on the top. But we all know that, when you go to an event or a party or something like that, and there's someone there that's like super positive, they're smiling and they're telling funny stories, and they always seem to get a little group of people.
You want to be around them.
And the person keeps talking, everybody listens. That's who you need to be. You want to be like that for a woman. Because in it, like, I fully believe this, and I think Luba does as well, is that there's energy in the world, right? Without going I'm not into like too weird stuff, but I believe there's energy in the world, and I believe that if you're positive to somebody else, they will become positive as well, right? I guess it was like ions, positive and negative ions. If you are negative, they're gonna they'll suck that negativity out of you, and they'll become negative as well. And so if you're negative, do you want to be speaking to a negative woman? Probably the answer is no. So you need to be positive, and then she will become positive as well. Then you need to become 2 positive ions, which equals, I don't know what that equals, 2 positive ions. I think even 2 negatives is a positive as well, isn't it? Well, that doesn't work. That means you both have to be negative. So if you're both negative, if she's negative, you be negative, and then you both become positive.
Maybe.
That's probably
very
not,
well said, but this is a little bit too much.
That's probably not the best strategy to take.
That is a little bit.
But anyway, hopefully that helps. We didn't talk about physical traits because really, I mean, they are important, and every man can become more attractive. Every man can become actually attractive, right? Just by doing a series of few things. Maybe it takes a month, maybe it takes 6 months, or maybe it takes 2 years to become attractive. But every man can become attractive. Being genetically good looking is different from being attractive, right? Just remember that. This here has nothing to do with how you physically look. At the moment or in the future, okay? But these things here,
and even like how much money you make, it's not even like about financial situation. Yes, of course, like some sort of things like depend on like where you live.
Well, the reason I think that some of the red pillars, they say, well, you have to be 6 foot tall and earn X amount of dollars, is because it automatically eliminates themselves, and they say, well, I'm not that tall, so what's the point? And it's like, okay, well, you click out of the race. You say, okay, what's the point? I don't have a shit show, so what's the point of even trying, right? So. And that's just, I think it's cope anyway, but this is from our experience, not from Coach whatever or Dr. Red Pill whatever. This is from our experience of what actually works. So
if you think of any other points, please put them down in the comments. See you in the next one.
See ya.